All right, what we'd like to do here is now take that problem that you had from the consumer price video 1 and learn how to talk about price changes in a little bit more detail. So we're going to learn kind of what income and substitution effects are here. So to do that, let's consider a price change. Why don't we let the price change be that the price of good 1 falls. Maybe we'll wind up with a new budget constraint that looks like that. Preferences will keep roughly the same shape as you move out. We call those homothetic preferences. And so we'll see a consumer that originally made some choice where they were at A. Now their choice is such that they're at B. Both instances, marginal rate of substitution equals marginal rate of transformation, but the marginal rate of transformation has changed because the price of good 1 has fallen. We now need to develop some language and machinery to talk about the effects of that price change, because there's two things that happens with a price change. On the one hand, you used to consume some of good 1, its price has fallen, so you can afford to buy more things. You feel richer. That's the income effect. The other thing that's happening that's driving your choices and your new set of consumption goods that you elect at these new prices is the pure effect of that relative price change without having that kind of income effect component in it. And we call the pure effect of the price change as the substitution effect. So how do we identify the substitution effect versus the income effect? Well, there's two basic classes of machinery that we use to define these two concepts. The Hicksian decomposition is what we call a compensated decomposition. We ask ourselves, okay, if this person is richer because of the price change, let's take away money from them so that they can get to that same indifference curve that they were originally at these new prices. And so that's going to imply I want to try to draw a budget curve that's tangent, budget line that's tangent to U0, that has the same slope as that blue line there that I have. And this will, of course, challenge my artistic abilities. But that's not so bad. And so the way that I'm doing this decomposition is I'm effectively taking away all of that money that you see there on the x2 axis. I'm going to take away that amount of money, which when I take away that kind of money, I'm taking away the effect that results because you feel richer. And I'm leaving you then with just the effect of the price change. So we have this movement from A to C that we call our substitution effect. And then that movement from C to B that we call our income effect. Okay, and so this is what we call a Hicks decomposition again. So yeah, so if we keep utility constant and just let the price change drive our changes and decisions, we would consume a lot more X1 than we end up consuming. Why is that? Well, because we like to consume both X2 and X1, and the fact that we're getting richer also drives us to want to consume more X2. So that's the income effect, feeling richer. As an exercise, do this Hicks decomposition, this compensated decomposition for a rise in the price of good 1, and for a fall and a rise in the price of good 2. All right, now I want to do a different kind of decomposition. It's still giving us income and substitution effects, but has a different kind of premise. This is what we call a Slutsky decomposition. And to me, it's just more intuitive than Hicks, because Hicks is about holding your utility constant. Slutsky is holding your kind of real income constant. So to find your income and substitution effects with Slutsky, we want to think about, in this instance, where the price fall has made us wealthier. We want to think about taking away enough income so that you can still afford that same bundle as before. So that, again, we want to have to identify these. We want a budget line that goes through A instead of U naught, that is parallel to the new budget line. And so here, given our preferences, I think our different utility looks something like that. So because of the relative price change, if our real income were held constant, we would move from A to C. So that's our Slutsky substitution effect. And then the movement from C to B is the effect of feeling richer. It's your income effect. So you see that intuition is the same between the Hicks and the Slutsky decompositions. You're going to identify substitution effects by, keeping in Slutsky real income fixed, or in Hicks utility fixed. That gets you the substitution effect, and then the rest of the change is your income effect. You just need to be clear what you're talking about. I think usually in this class, I'll like to use the Slutsky decomposition just because I think that's more intuitive. Keeping real income fixed is kind of more concrete than keeping utility fixed. Okay. So as an exercise with, the Slutsky decomposition, you should do this by raising the price of good 1, as well as raising and lowering the price of good 2 to kind of do 3 different decompositions so you can get a sense of each of these and know how to draw them. And the final exercise I'd like to suggest you do to make sure you understand these income and substitution effects is to do these 2 Hicks and Slutsky decompositions for Giffen goods to show us that the phenomena that must be driving the existence of a Giffen good is that the good itself is an inferior good, which is a statement about what that income effect needs to look like. So that would be a good exercise. If you can show that, I feel like you got a pretty good grasp of how to do these decompositions.